Hi guys, Sabretooth is here with another Marvel Legends action figure review, and I got the last of the X-Men wave that I needed to get, so I'm going to be finishing off those reviews and then ending off with the Apocalypse BAF with an overview of the wave. So here I have Sabretooth. This is a figure I was looking forward to getting. I'm always open to getting more villains in Marvel Legends. I don't have a Sabretooth yet, and he'll go really well with the Wolverine from this wave, so I was pretty happy to get this one. So here's in the packaging. You got the standard Marvel Legends packaging for this X-Men wave with the yellow backdrop and the yellow theme. You got Build-A-Figure Marvel's Apocalypse, X logo, Marvel Legends figure in the packaging, X-Men, Sabretooth. Pretty cool image of Sabretooth, which is the same on both sides, but I really like the illustration there. Product shot, a brief bio which has a skilled assassin armed with sharp beast-like fangs and claws. Sabretooth is a paid mercenary of evil. Here's the Apocalypse BAF and all the figures that you need to complete the BAF. You need every single figure from this wave to fully complete the BAF. I've reviewed Wolverine, Gladiator, Multiple Man, and Psylocke already. We're reviewing Sabretooth with Storm and Magneto still to follow. So that's pretty much it for the packaging. So I'm going to crack them open and we'll take a closer look at the figure. Here I have Sabretooth out of the packaging, and it's a really cool figure. I really like it a lot, even though there's not a whole lot new going on with this figure. He does mostly reuse the Hyperion body mold, and he's the second figure from this wave to do so. There's also a previous Hasbro release of Sabretooth, which also used the Hyperion body mold and most of the same parts. So like I said, this figure isn't super new per se. But he has a new head sculpt, he has new forearm parts, and the design itself is enough to make it different from that first version from Hasbro, which I'd say is probably more on the modern-esque side. This is much more 90s, semi-classic, I suppose, Sabretooth, so I think that's really cool, and I definitely prefer this look over the other one, which I don't have. He doesn't really come with any accessories besides the BAF piece. You do get the left arm of Apocalypse, and we'll take a closer look at the BAF later on in a future video when we finish all these reviews. But let's get on to Victor Creel here. Or Creed, sorry. Not Creel. Head sculpt's really cool. It does have its flaws, which if you're familiar with the figure already, you'll know. But I really do like what they did here. He's got this very animated sort of snarling head sculpt going on. The hair is really nicely sculpted. I really do like that, and they even put a bit of a black wash in the hair to give it more, bring out the details more, which is really, really cool. I like that a lot. He's got, I don't want to say mask, but his little cowl or head thingy on there, which looks pretty good, and you can see his ears kind of poking through the fabric, which is cool. The eyebrows look good. I really like how his eyes are whited out, and that his right eye is slightly squinted more than his left eye. I think that's really cool. It kind of adds to the sort of, like say, it's beast persona, I suppose, or savagery. All the sculpted details on the face looks really good. Again, I really like the open mouth. It's a hollowed out mouth. You got the paint up inside the mouth as well, which is really cool. The teeth are painted and sculpted, and I think that looks really, really cool. The only problem with it is that they sculpted the jaw separately from the head sculpt, so they had to, I guess, glue the jaw into the head sculpt, and because of that there are actually seam lines on the edge of his mouth, and that's a little annoying. I think some people's are worse than others. This side's not too bad. This one's sort of noticeable. It's kind of annoying. You can definitely tell. I'm more on this side than that side, but it is kind of annoying. On the rest of the figure here, again, Hyperion body mold. Some people have complained that the head sits a bit too high on the neck. It doesn't bother me too much, but I would agree. He does have this new piece here for his back fur or whatever, this mane that he has on his costume. It's a separate piece and can be removed. It just pops off like that. It has some really nice detail, actually. It's molded in I guess a white, grayish white, and it has another like gray wash over to really bring out the details in it, which is really cool. It is made of a softer, pliable material. So it can be a little bit tricky to get into the peg on the back of the figure. But that's how he looks like without that. But I really like the look of this mane here. It looks really cool. it does sort of not sit completely flush onto the torso, but it's not too bad where it's super noticeable. The rest of the paint job is really just this yellow, which is a dark yellow with the brown, which I think looks really good. And the paint apps that they put on this guy are really nicely applied. Looking throughout the figure, it's pretty sharply done. There's not really much in the terms of paint error. There's a couple of little minor scuffs, but aside from that, it's really cleanly painted. And you got all the tiger stripes and whatnot going on, which is pretty cool. Like I said, he does have new forearms, and that's because they have this spike sculpted onto them. So that's new, and that is cool. It's nice to have little like new parts to it, so I like that. The clawed hands are really cool. They're the same as the previous Sabretooth, and they've probably been used in other figures, but I think they're still pretty cool. They got the claws there, and they got a nice open pose. I like that a lot. And he's got the legs. You got a little bit of brown on the boot, 2 peg holes at the bottom of the feet, and really not much else to talk about. In terms of articulation, it's the Hyperion body mold. You probably know what you're getting into. You can look up really high. You can look down all the way. A little bit of pivot, which is cool, and rotation. Ball hinge at the shoulders. You know, you can pretty much get them all the way around, up quite a bit. Swivel at the bicep. Double hinges at the elbow, which move pretty good, and hinges at the wrists with the swivel, which is good. Ab crunch, which moves really good. Forward and back. Swivel cut at the waist. Ball hinge at the hips, which move it loud for a really good spread. Kick all the way out, not really back. Swivel at the thigh. Double hinges at the knees, which don't go as far as maybe one would like because of the thickness of the thigh and the calf. A swivel cut at the calf, and hinges at the ankles with rocker joints. So he has pretty good articulation. You're gonna get mostly what you want out of this guy. And all the joints are nice and solid. They're not too tight. They're not too loose. They're just at that right spot. So I always really like that when figures get that right. So straighten him out here. He doesn't have any accessories. We'll go right into comparisons. So here he is with the Wolverine from this wave. I think that's a pretty decent size comparison. Sabretooth is at least a full head, maybe a head and a half taller than Wolverine, so I think that's pretty cool. Here he is next to a more standard 6-inch figure on the Bucky cap. Here's the Multiple Man from this wave, who stands up a bit taller, but I think it looks pretty good. Here's Gladiator from the same wave, which uses the same mold. They stand about the same height. For a bigger figure, here is Colossus from, I think, last year, was it? And Colossus is taller than him, so I think that works. And I guess with a random BAF, here's the recent Hulk figure from the first 10 years, and Hulk's significantly taller than him. But I think that makes sense, and that looks good. I think the scaling's pretty good. I know people want him to be a bit bigger. I like how this looks. I think it looks good. So overall, I think this is actually a pretty good figure. I think if you're a Marvel Legends collector, especially if you're an X-Men collector, and you're looking for some more villains to add to the shelf, 100% recommend picking up this Sabretooth. He's actually a really cool one. Despite the reuse of parts, it's just the right amount of different to make him a lot cooler looking. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you all in the next video.